All right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. 4 reviews up this week. The first of which is Zany Golf. Right, so Zany Golf is a golf game that's zany, or rather, it's a mini golf game. Thing is, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if it's like the first mini golf game. Obviously, it's not like the first golf game. Oh God, no. Like, even by the time of when this came out, which was like originally, I want to say 1987, 1988, somewhere along one of those years, the golf game had been very well established. Like, in fact, I think from what I read, like that was kind of the impetus of doing Zany Golf here, or also known as Will Harvey's Zany Golf. This is something that's different, and not just because you're on a mini golf course. First of all, the things I have to talk about on this program sometimes, because I didn't think I'd be bringing up fucking Memphis style here, but, well, look at this. Like, if not the intro, just the everything. And if you don't know what Memphis style is, okay, very briefly, it was an artistic movement that happened in Milan in the very early 80s that lasted about 7 years. And the grand uptick of influence was it provided a lot of inspiration to things like early Tim Burton films, Pee-wee's Playhouse, probably most notable to kids of that era. It influenced early Nickelodeon graphics. Like, there's a lot of Double Dare.
Very colorful, bold lines.
Abstract shapes, asymmetrical shapes. This has the whole 9 yards. Like, if you want to know what Memphis style looks like, this is it. And that's probably something that made it stand out in terms of video games. Like I said, Memphis style is apparently even more popular in the last 10 years. Like, honestly, my knowledge of this thing is kind of limited. But it's also like, it's one of those things that, was fairly influential, even if you don't know it was influential. Just because, a lot of the stuff, the cultural touchstones, like, say, Saved by the Bell and its intro sequence, that was seen by a lot of people in the 90s. And the game is absolutely bathed in it and looked fairly advanced for its time. Like, anyway, so with also another thing that was a selling point, especially with the computer versions, was these every course had an individual track. Once again, that's something that's kind of lost in today's world. Probably even something in like the 90s. But for a computer game to have music at all wasn't always a sure thing. Granted, this is it depends on the platform. That was much more of a selling point for the, let's say, MS-DOS version, as much as a selling point as that could be, given that the MS-DOS, since that's the version that Pico decided to re-release, this is one of their fairly, I guess for lack of a better term, lazy or quick. Like,
it's in DOSBox. It's not using the proprietary emulator.
Yeah, it's like, it's actually been a while since we've seen something that's just been plopped in to DOSBox, and this isn't like one of their earlier releases. This just came out onto Steam not too long ago. Yeah, it came out July 16th, 20. So it came out last month at time of recording. So, and once again, I'm trying not to disparage the company too much here, but I also can't ignore the evolution of retro releases that we've covered
right
on the program. Like, just putting this next to something released by a whole host of other companies. And, this is looking not even bare bones. Because, like, even bare bones retro releases, typically more than this. Like, this is just an emulated DOS version of the game. It's like when, like, there should be other versions here at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because Zany Golf is a title that was fairly popular back in its day. Popular enough to hit all of the popular computer formats of the time, or at least the more advanced. Like, there's an Amiga version, but there's not a Commodore 64 version, which shows you the platforms that this thing was targeting. Even though this game came out for the Apple IIgs, which this is where I wish I could consult Becky on this, because I want to say of the platforms that this game was released on, the Apple IIgs was the least powerful, because it hit the Amiga, the Atari ST, MS-DOS compatibles, and finally, in 1990, it made its console debut on the Sega Genesis. The point is, the Amiga, the Atari ST, those are 16-bit machines. And given that we've got the MS-DOS version here, this looks in line with the other computer versions. Like, it's not running in fucking EGA mode or something like that. Or is it CGA I'm thinking of?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think it's CGA. That's the 4-color. This is the 16-color stuff here. Like I said, it's been a while since I had to consult the GAs. So, anyway, putting that aside, so how does the game play? It's weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I mean weird as in unexpected, because this game doesn't play like a golf game. I think we've talked about early golf games, the evolution of golf controls a few times on the program, but once again, by the late 80s, golf controls had been pretty well established. The 3 clicks, power meter. This is a game of billiards. Honestly,
which really is very similar in some ways to golf, and such as that there is a ball of which you're supposed to connect with a stick and end up in hole.
Yeah, it's like I can see the logic through line, but it messes me up because, like I said, I'm used to golf games doing the power meter thing.
Yeah, this one it's very hard to gauge your power.
Yeah, I didn't like that. And I don't think I would have liked it back in the day either. Because, as I said, it's like I played like NES tournament golf and like the original golf on the NES, which is, the NES golf is like the progenitor of the 3-click solution. So it just, like, other people might be able to finagle this. I really couldn't. But that's less of a problem next to the gimmicks. Because, like, a lot of these holes, in keeping with the spirit of mini golf and, it's wacky, it's zany, as it purports to be, like, the 9 holes, 10 holes, if you manage to get everything under par, or at par. And I'm trying to remember if it was at par or, you get to unlock the mystery hole. It's like, which is apparently golf, but with breakout.
Well, I mean, I'm playing golf with that's pinball.
Yeah, I did watch. So the pinball hole is pretty infamous in this game. Okay, so
for the usual, it's pinball. You don't have a hell of a lot of control over stuff reasons.
Apparently, it's just a matter of luck if you get past this hole.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it's pinball. You have very little control over pinball.
Well, I thought I was doing it correctly, but it still wouldn't do it. So either it's bugged, or
the hole is up in the upper left, right?
That is a hole, not the actual pinball hole. I don't think, or not the
like pinball par 3. The level begins as a game of pinball, where the player can hit the ball with the flippers after shooting it. 2 drop targets must be hit in the top left corner before the top left corner escape chute is activated. Although
so you have to hit that number 2 thing and then get it into the.
Yeah. So basically, this game wanted you to play something resembling an actual game of pinball here, except
without the decent physics.
Yeah, and that's probably a shout out to the developer. Credit to this.
Okay, now you can get it in the hole.
Yeah.
I don't know what you did that lets you get it in the hole. It's kind of it's janky for all of the obvious reasons, and maybe then a couple of extra ones.
Yeah, in a roundabout way, because like one of the things that Will Harvey created is the music construction set, and probably the most famous construction set is the pinball construction set. But don't quote me on that. But so yeah, this is quite the roadblock. Apparently, if you have multiple people, you can all chip in to open the hole, so to speak. But that's not, like, even for the time, that's not really good game design.
No, not at all. And also the scrolling is very bad.
That's a subset. That's because it's the MS-DOS version.
Yeah.
Once again, something we've touched upon. At this point in time, the PC, specifically DOS PCs, they were not really congruent with scrolling. That's why I wish the Amiga version was here. It sounds better. It plays better. It still has the problem of the pinball, but that's kind of endemic to the game itself. And the Genesis version would have been an interesting curio because you would have to use a pad to move the ball. I have no idea how that controls. I've never played this game until like this past week.
So I think I might be screwed.
That sounds about right.
I can't find the ball, and I can't rotate the camera.
No, that's not.
Is that big thing the ball?
It's behind it somewhere, but I can't find it.
Anyway,
It should have a mouse over cursor change or something, but even then your cursor is white. So.
Yeah, it's white on white.
Yeah. Once again, this was probably sold, or it should have been sold, because I'm not seeing anything here as a demonstrator of the mouse. Because once again, time period 1980, late 1980s, mice aren't that common, especially on machines like the MS-DOS platform. So you'd expect this to be a showcase for the mouse, but apparently not. But how do I put this? It's still nifty to see in a game of this vintage and this platform. I'm pretty sure you can reset the game.
I thought I just saw it for a hot second.
When the unexpected happens. Anyway, speaking of other strange quirks, the par system. Because, once again, it doesn't work like a traditional golf or mini golf game, but it does it in a bad way. There's no other way to say it. Because I'm assuming everyone here is, taking a trip to the mini golf course at some point.
I actually have not.
Or putt-putt?
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
Okay.
I know of it. I have just never actually gone.
Yeah, so the weird thing is the par shots are basically your life bar. Which is not, it's like if you don't get par 3, par 5, if you don't get par, the game just ends. Which is not how golf games, even here in this time frame, acted.
Mm-hmm.
It's like even if you took 5 or 6 strokes, you'd still be able to play the entire game. Your score is going to be awful, but you're usually able to play an entire game of golf.
Mm-hmm.
Not here. And I'm guessing they did that because it's zany.
Yeah, I'm soft locked here.
Jeez.
Because I either need to just hit it, just bump it once to get my last stroke on, or reset the entire game.
I mean, both will accomplish the same thing. Another thing is there's no you don't get to start on hole 3 or hole 7. It's like if you want to play through the whole game, you've got to do it the hard way, so to speak.
Yeah, this one white spot on here is the exact same color as my cursor. So if it's in there, it will be impossible for me to know.
White on white on white.
Basically.
Yeah. As far as something. I guess I'm not sure if this is above the bare minimum, but thankfully you don't have to deal with the copy protection. According to Wikipedia, the DOS version uses a code wheel as a form of copy protection. Before the hamburger hole, the game gives a prompt which requires the player to rotate the wheel into a certain position. Giving the correct result allows the player to continue the game. I can see why that got disabled, because that is a form of copy protection that is very of the time.
Mm-hmm. It was either they had to implement one or just crack it out.
Yeah. This game also does have multiplayer up to 4 people. I did not try this.
It's local multiplayer.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't think I would have been able to convince my niece or nephews to play this game.
And then theoretically play together will work, but we've had some mixed success with that, by which I mean
none. I don't think I even saw this for remote play together. Like,
you can probably force it to work because it's just a Steam game.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Then again, because DOSBox, it may not work
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also 30-plus-year-old game?
Probably 35.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anyway, in terms of overall evaluation, it is definitely zany. I'll give it that. It lives up to its title. Quirky, whatever sort of synonym for off the wall you want to use here, it is that. But is this worth playing? Not really.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting curiosity to look at.
Yeah.
But as far as like actually going out and trying to play it for real, no.
Yeah. That being said, it's a better billiards game than the billiards game we reviewed a few weeks back.
Hilarious.
Seriously, that.
I'm aware. I was there.
Anyway, so Zany Golf is currently running on Steam for $6.99, $7. Yeah, that's. I'd wait for Pico games. Very frequently go on sale for like $2.34 or some price around. Wait for the sale price if you're interested in picking this up.
And even then, like, this would have to be something you played as a kid that you've lost your code wheel for and just have an itching to play again. I can't really recommend, like, somebody who's not already attuned to this go seek it out, because there's like nothing there.
Yeah, the thing that's really sticking with me is it's just the DOS version.
Right.
Like, even fellow Dregger of the very obscure Pixel Games UK, they'll typically have 2 versions of a given title, like Commodore 64, Amstrad, what have you, Spectrum ZX Spectrum. This just has the DOS version in it, and I think that's simply because it's, comparatively speaking, dead simple to get DOS emulation going versus like Atari ST or Amiga or even like the Genesis ROM.
Like I get that DOSBox is, I don't know if it's fully free. I know there are some versions that are free, but it's definitely one of those Yeah, but you could have put a little bit of effort in this.
Yeah.
If it was all the versions for $7, sure.
Yep. And you know, it's also, this doesn't have any rewind, any save states. Granted, this isn't really the kind of game you really need save states with, but on
I
the other hand,
mean,
like, I'm just talking.
rewind, at least starting out, so you can kind of help judge your shot
But those,
strength.
but on the other hand, those aren't features inherent to DOSBox.
Yeah, those. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a version of DOSBox that has those, because this is, I think this is an older build of DOSBox.
It's hard to say.
Version 7.4 from 2010.
Yeah. Then again, I'm not exactly sure how updated DOSBox itself
Yeah,
is
that's
these
what I'm
days.
gonna look at. Live research, boys and girls.
It happens many times on this program.
DOSBox. Oh, this 7.4 revision 3 is the last one that came out in 2019.
That's what I figured, because once again,
Ideally, 7.5 should be released by now. This was from 2019.
I'm guessing like some sort of regular updates happen with DOSBox, because it still comes up in the retro scene.
Yeah.
You
I think a lot of people have been just switching to virtual machining FreeDOS than trying to use DOSBox.
possibly, like,
We'd have to go grab Clint or somebody and be like, hey, yeah, how do people do this now?
point of order is the retro scene has just been getting more and more robust, and this this looks more and more lazy as time goes by.
Yeah, because we have Limited Run's Carbon Engine. We have Digital Eclipse's special sauce, which I'm forgetting the name of offhand.
Like, the Eclipse engine.
Yeah, the Eclipse engine. There's Pico's own proprietary engine they could have used for this.
Yeah, that's like, it's not it's not their proprietary, like,
They have some kind of wrapper over it.
like, it's called the Magic Rabbit wrapper or engine, or that's the stuff that they use for the consoles.
Well, it's also run DOS games before. We have actual games of theirs that are the DOS
Right.
versions running in that's not using DOS.
Yeah, like I said, this is looking increasingly stale in the year of 2024.
Right. Like, I guess it's decent because if you look through your Steam files, you will have the ROM to put in a emulator of your choosing. Or like if you want to load it up on a actual DOS machine, if you have the capability to write it to a floppy.
Now, I can also grant that the DOS, there could be rights issues behind, why they couldn't get the Apple II GS or the Genesis.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But given what we've seen from Pico before, I'm like, when they get lazy, they get lazy.
Let me see while we're here. Properties. Installed files. I'm looking to see where what's all in the file.
Uh-huh.
Virtual HD? What the hell is this? Oh, hard disk. I was about to say, is there an HD version that it's just not showing me? And no, there's the Zany box or Zany Golf exe file.
Mm.
Let me see if I can open that right. And yeah, it's just bound in a DOS box. So yeah, you can't just throw it into an emulator you want. They didn't give you the raw file for that.
Not too surprising. Anyway, I think that's about all I got for Zany Golf here, which is admittedly a lot more than I was expecting.
Right.
Actually. Anyway, so that'll about do it for this game. Be sure to tune in after the break as Petty Fan will be reviewing Knock on the Coffin Lid.